Welcome to The Explainer. When you think about a financial audit, what comes to mind? Probably some intense movie scene, right? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and separate that Hollywood myth from what really goes down.
All right, so let's jump right in. Let's talk about that classic image of an auditor, the one we all kind of have in our heads.
You see it in movies all the time, right? The auditor as this financial superhero, swooping in at the last minute to catch the bad guys and expose some huge corporate conspiracy. But is that really their job? Are they supposed to be detectives?
And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the matter. On one hand, you've got the myth, the auditor as a fraud detective. But the reality? It's much more about providing a professional, expert opinion. That difference, that's everything.
Okay, so if they're not financial bloodhounds sniffing out crime, what is their actual mission? I mean, what are they really being paid to do?
So here's the official lingo. The goal is to get reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free from material misstatement. Now, those are two super important phrases. Reasonable assurance basically means they are very, very confident, but it's not a 100% guarantee. And material? That just means an error big enough that it would actually make a difference to someone, like an investor reading the report. They're not looking for a misplaced $20 bill.
And this is a really critical point. The audit process is solid, it's thorough, but it's not bulletproof. Think of it less like an impenetrable fortress and more like a really, really strong safety net. It's designed to catch the big stuff, but it's not an absolute promise to catch everything.
And here's the thing, keeping the books clean isn't just one person's job, not at all. It's a team effort, a collective responsibility, and everyone has a very specific part to play.
And you might find this surprising, but the number one line of defense against fraud, it isn't the auditor who comes in from the outside. Nope, it's the company's own management. They are the ones who are supposed to build a culture of honesty and put systems in place to stop bad things from happening from the get-go.
You can see it broken down pretty clearly here. Management's job is to stop and find fraud. The directors, they're the ones who officially present these financials. And only then does the auditor come in to give their independent opinion. See? Everyone's got their own lane.
So there's a real flow to this, a logical sequence. Management's work is happening all the time. Then, at the end of the year, the directors put the financials on the table. And then, the auditor steps in to do their thing and give their opinion. It's a very deliberate process.
Now, to give that opinion, an auditor can't just, believe everything they're told. They have to come at it with a very particular mindset.
And this is it. This is the secret sauce for a good auditor. Professional skepticism. Now, this doesn't mean they walk in assuming everyone's a liar. Not at all. It just means they have a questioning mind. They're curious, and they need to see the evidence. It's basically the professional version of trust but verify.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it means they don't just take a document and file it away. They think, could this be a fake? It means they're not assuming management is crooked, but they're not giving them a free pass either. They stay neutral, they follow the evidence, and they're ready to push back and challenge things that just don't seem right.
All right, let's pull all of this together. If an audit isn't a 100% fraud-proof guarantee, then what's the point? What's the real value here? The real value of an audit, the whole reason we do it, comes down to one word: confidence. When an independent auditor signs off, it gives everyone, investors, banks, you name it, confidence that the numbers are basically fair and accurate. And that confidence, that trust, is pretty much what our entire financial system runs on.
And let's just say this one more time, because it's so important. The focus is on what is material, things that are big enough to actually matter. An auditor's opinion is giving you that reasonable assurance that there aren't any huge, company-altering mistakes or frauds hiding in plain sight.
So that leaves us with this big question, right? If this whole system is set up with all these checks and balances, how do these massive financial scandals still happen? Well, at the end of the day, the system is made of people, and it relies on every single one of them, management, directors, and auditors, to do their job with integrity. If any part of that chain fails, the whole thing can come crashing down. An audit can build trust, for sure, but it can't create honesty where there is none.